Hey, another one. The Volkswagen ID Bus has finally come into our hands for a test drive over the weekend. Let's check it out. As you can imagine, the design of the ID Bus is really special and really stands out from the current crowd of cars you see on the road. And so many people have come to me over the weekend taking photos of the car, asking me about it, and they're just so intrigued. Now join me as we go for a drive. Now you may be frightened driving the ID Bus on Singapore roads because of its wider than usual dimensions, but you shouldn't be afraid because actually the car is very wieldy on small roads, and they have made the steering actually the same size as a normal car. So all you need to do is just make sure you account for the length of the car when you turn, and it feels quite car-like to drive, at least on low speeds. I like that for such a large vehicle, there's plenty of power to be had thanks to the electric drivetrain, so there's no fear of lack of power at all in this car. But obviously because of the van underpinnings, there are some characteristics of the car that feels like a van. For example, the noise insulation is quite acceptable in city speeds, but once you go to the highway it gets quite loud, and you can hear loud noises from the outside as well coming into the cabin. The suspension is also on the stiff side, more or less comfortable for day-to-day driving, but once you get over humps and unevenness in the road, the car does start to rock a bit left and right. But all of that is forgiven when you look at the car interior, even the color combinations, design, it just puts a smile on your face. And I think this car is a nice hark back to the Volkswagen Combi of the past, and the feel-good factor of driving this car is very high. Now I took this very ID Bus to Malaysia for a short road trip, and it was so enjoyable. Firstly, we sit very high up from the ground, so the view out is very special. And secondly, the car is so spacious, so everyone had plenty of space. And on the second row there are fold-out tables, so that's pretty useful, especially for my son who loves to play his cars on it. One thing to note is that for the third row, the recline of the seats is quite limited, so you do have to sit quite upright. Some other quirks we also noticed, when we reached the checkpoints we had to open the sliding doors because all the rear windows cannot be wound down. So when you open the doors and when there are charging cables inserted into the doors, the cable gets pulled back with the door. So that's an ergonomic flaw that could be improved. But otherwise, it's quite nice that every passenger in the car has a charging port, so you don't have to fight over the cables. And the electrochromatic sunroof is really nice. It makes the cabin very airy. But one drawback of course is that it gets pretty hot when you park out in the sun. You're able to block out most of the sun when you turn it to the most opaque setting, but it's still hot. In conclusion, you buy the Volkswagen ID Bus because it makes you happy. And I'm pretty sure it will make a lot of people happy.